Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Technology Show, where our experts translate geek into regular speak. How do you feel about mixed reality versus virtual reality? And what are your thoughts? Gadgets or games? And where exactly are you on the battlefield of Windows versus Apple? Stay tuned for our special geek guests. And now, it's over to our Techsperts.
Yo, 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 it's that time of the week again. Technology, Tech, K-N-O-W-L-E-D-G-Y, where we translate geek
into regular speak.
I'm Brett Levy, and with me as always, Aryeh Sternberg. What's up?
A lot.
Good.
It's cold again.
It is.
Just going to mention it.
No, it is.
Walking in North
wind.
Sydney. Oh, man. Just going the last 2 days, this week, we've had a few meetings in North Sydney. Getting out of the train and just going out on the street, I'm like, where am I? Compared to last week, unbelievable. Very, very different.
What happened last week? Actually, no, we had that.
It was crazy warm.
Yeah,
it was crazy warm. But like one day of rain, it was like, bring on the cold.
We did say it. We say, watch, there's going to be a snap that comes through just to give us a kick in the butt. So, into App of the Week.
App of the Week.
This one we've had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with, only because of battery power. But before we get to the negatives, let's actually tell everyone what it is. It is Sweatcoin, as in emittance of bodily fluids after exercise, and currency. Sweatcoin. Why did I choose it? Well, as its name would suggest, if you sweat, you earn coin.
Yes.
It still makes it sound disgusting. Okay, so
there's something weird about it.
It's a health app.
It's a health app?
Basically, it rewards you with what they call Sweatcoin, so it's their currency. No, it's not a new type of crypto, penny, so don't get excited. This is not something else to invest in. But basically, you earn coins for every step that you take, or every 100 steps you take. I'm not sure what the exact metric is to convert into coins. Why did I choose it over all the others? I mean, we've spoken about Qantas Assure before, where we've earned steps for walking and all those good things. So, one, the user interface was pretty cool. It has to be outdoors. It uses GPS. In fact, I actually made a note of that. Like, what do you do, or how do they prevent cheating? So the first thing they do is it has to be outdoors. It picks up a GPS signal. That's probably what causes the battery drain, which is one of the negatives, which we'll get to just now. Secondly, the algorithm plugs straight into the accelerometer. So it
of your phone.
Yeah. So it actually does detect the fact that your phone is moving, but equally not moving at the speed of a vehicle.
Yep.
It needs to be moving at what a normal person would move at, even if it's running. But there's a difference between a running person or a person in a car, unless it's the Sydney morning traffic, because I can walk faster than that.
So I've walked, according to this, since I turned it on and logged it
1,000
in
miles.
again.
And I'll walk 1,000 more?
No, it says 4,794 points, and I've earned 0 coins. Now, I haven't set a daily goal. Don't know if that's how it works.
That's
I think that
weird.
From an accuracy perspective, well, this is coming from this morning, but I actually did quite a bit of hiking. So I went all the way up to Macquarie Park, visited the boys at Simosity, came back. Is that today or is that?
No, my balance is 100 coins, 0.9.
Yeah, so I haven't. So that's considering how much you've done. It makes sense. I haven't done anything today. I think the question is from Sweatcoin, what kind of integrations does it have?
This is interesting. So I can maybe answer that question. 505 outdoor steps. This is today, by the way.
Okay.
Today's the 8th. Yeah. 505 outdoor steps, and I've earned 0.47 Sweatcoins. The 19th of July, I've actually had mine off because you scared me on the battery story. The last one I can see on the 19th of July, I did 1,408 steps, and I've earned 1.33. So that's telling me you are earning 1 cent or 1 decimal for every 10 steps. That's what that correlates to. Every 100 steps. Yep. $1.33, 1 Sweatcoin 33 for 1,400. So that's 1%. Yeah. So for every for every 100 steps, for every 1,000 steps, sorry, you're earning 1 coin. There's the conversion. So you've done how many today? 400 and something.
4,794.
So you should have had 4 coins. Maybe it's got it tabulated at a later stage. So let's say you have earned your coins. So I've got 100 coins. You get these daily specials, and there is like a store within there where you can actually spend your coins on protein shakes, on caps, on clothing, on sunglasses. There's been all kinds of offers. First of all, love the UI. It's just got this like futuristic. You remember that game Tank that we used to play on computers? We had to like navigate through the landscapes. Yeah, like with the little mountains that appeared. So that it looks like that Tank feel, and as you turn around, all the mountains and things move. The user interface from how to find the algorithm, how to find the coins, how to find your wallet, it's very intuitive.
Yeah.
I haven't actually spent any coins yet, but I've only got 100. I think you need a few hundred to get something worthwhile. In fact, it's 600 for a cap.
Yeah, I think that it is new, right?
It is new. So and plus it's like new stuff, right?
Yeah, you don't have excessive offers yet. What is pretty cool is that I think they know their audience. Like you said, the UI is very gamey. It's very technology feeling, and it's not the
Techknowledgy show.
On the Techknowledgy show, but it's not the happy-go-lucky Fitbit. There's no flowers. There's no little fireworks when you hit your thing, and that makes it a bit different. The other thing that they've got built in, which is a little bit different, which Qantas Assure kind of hits a bit, is you can actually pay for upgrades. So you can upgrade to Shaker, Quaker, Breaker, and Troublemaker, which is coming soon. And basically what you're doing is you're paying a cash amount to earn more Sweatcoins, the ability to earn more Sweatcoins. So if you actually pay...
It's like any other mod, right?
Yeah.
If your car can go faster than mine, I'm going to get from A to B quicker. So you're going to earn more.
So it's that trade-off of, are you willing to pay a bit of cash to earn more Sweatcoins?
But then you've got skin in the game. You're invested.
You do.
Which is great.
Which is interesting. Now, how they communicate that and how they get that across to people, it's interesting.
Wanting.
It's a question, right?
Yeah.
So you've earned 100 coins. The Shaker level, which is the first paid level up, is $4.75 Sweatcoins a month, or an underscore cash amount. So you're investing $4.75, which means that you're going to do more
to get it back.
To get more back.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept.
It's clever.
Yeah.
I think it'll be one of those things that will disappear in the next 6 months or get acquired by one of the, let's say, sporting brands, like a Nike or Puma. No, it wouldn't be Nike. They got their own whole suite.
Yeah.
But like a Puma or Adidas or one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch the space. It is on Android and iOS. You're looking at it on an iOS. The interface looked pretty similar from what I could see. You've got the same movie little mountain thingamajobs in the back.
What's very cool, the only other thing I'll add, is that there's a Sweatcoin algorithm.
Yes, I was reading about the algorithm.
And so it
calculates how you sweat.
Well, yeah, no, there's no skin thing, but it does see, how quickly, making sure you don't strap your phone to your dog.
Correct.
For example,
well, that's what I was saying earlier, that you have to be outdoors.
Yeah. And
it uses upright. It's got. They admit that they're only about 65% accurate.
Yeah.
But they work on it, it's a new app. So Sweatcoin.
Mixing things up a little bit because it's just hard. I can't wait for it.
Look, my ADHD is just saying thank you.
Oh.
It is that time. Tell me.
It's time for the A and B split test.
Yes. Okay, so this one actually makes me really look at some of my thinking and thoughts and processes with regards to VR, which is a topic you and I talk about every week, and we'll do so this week as well. We're going to compare the Daydream, and can I change this a little bit? Can I say Daydream and similar? You know what I mean? So Daydream and any other kind of headset that you stick a phone in.
So
plus Oculus Go.
I'm going to do this. The reason why, no.
Okay.
So we're looking at the Oculus Go.
Yes.
And the Oculus Go.
Well, that's the B. The A and the B. So Daydream, A, Oculus Go, B.
Oculus
or whatever.
Go is running Oculus VR, and Oculus VR is exactly the same on the Go, on Gear VR, and on Oculus Rift. So that experience when you went into the holding room where you actually have that UI and choosing stuff and looking at it or pointing at it doesn't change. The only thing that changes is how you actually choose what you're doing, and then the degrees of freedom and the speed of the experience and the
so you want to compare it because of Google's?
Yeah, it's more the Google UI
Cool,
than the Daydream side.
I was just talking about like from the hardware and the limitation. Okay, so you own a Daydream, so kick it off, man.
Until trying the Oculus Go and then giving Google Gear VR a revisit, I really felt, and I still feel, that the UI in Google Daydream, in the Daydream space, is quite good. In all the cases, particularly with the newest devices, you have a controller. That controller has a thumb pad which can be used to move around as a mouse and click as a button. There's also two buttons below. One is a back button, one is a select button, so a menu button, something like that. In those cases, it's very similar. Mm-hmm. You have a wand. Depending on the game experience, it will shoot like a laser as a pointer.
Pew, pew.
In Mysterious Beasts, the Harry Potter game, it's a wand that you actually swish around in the air. The accuracy, and on the Daydream, that wand is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it measures the distance from your headset.
It does, you're right. I think it uses a Bluetooth connector or something to help position it.
And there's a bit of an additional degree of freedom because your hand can actually leave your body, right?
Correct.
You can't move around in space. All of these devices are still 3 degrees of freedom, which means you can look left and right. You can look up and down.
But you can't go forward and backwards.
You can't go forward and backwards. And if you change your elevation, it's not going to change. And that is a little bit different when you add in the degrees of freedom that Puyo's Vizos space
from last week. Yeah. And that's what we're saying, right? Now we're going to put those devices back onto that test.
Exactly, and it works with all 3 devices.
Correct.
So Google Daydream, Google has increasingly more and more games available that are coming out available for that. YouTube is optimized for that. So when you're looking at YouTube 360 videos in Google Daydream, it's quite a good experience because it's that Google infrastructure and connectivity.
But that's the ecosystem, and I'm not saying because I'm not knocking it. It's a comparison.
Yeah, totally. Now, Gear VR, Marcia, we got a Gear VR with her headset, and we didn't really play with it much, and I put it back in, and I was pleasantly surprised to see...
Gear VR is Oculus.
Samsung. It runs Oculus.
It runs Oculus, yeah.
So it's the same experience. The only thing is she got a first edition, so you're tapping the side of your head. Yeah. Or you're looking at something, so your gaze and
then that does the wheel
goes around. That's a hard experience. Yeah. Tell me about your first experience wearing the Oculus Go yesterday.
Okay. So, and this is why I said at the beginning of the segment, I actually had to rethink, because I've really knocked on Oculus, and I've knocked on them purely because they were first to market. They created this big hype. They got bought for an insane amount of money, and then they did nothing. Every year, we're coming, and nothing, right? And that's why I knocked on them, not because of their tech. In fact, they use 2 sensors instead of 4. I'm talking about the bigger system, right?
Yep.
On the Rift. So there wasn't a reason to knock the hardware. I was just angry at the fact that they'd become a Zuckerberg monkey product. But all that changed yesterday, and it's that fresh. It was yesterday. Thank you, Travis from Lens Immersive. I'm now going to be out of pocket of a few $100. I will buy an Oculus Go. So the Oculus Go, still 3 degrees of freedom. I'm going to carry on with that negative that you mentioned, because that was the one thing that I said. When I was holding the controller felt like it was stuck to my side, like I needed to look down to my hip to see it. It couldn't move forward and backwards like it does with the Daydream. Now, with the game that we're playing, with the shooting game, I would have much preferred to have been able to move my hand forward, see the revolver in my hand, aiming, as opposed to just the laser sight. So that's the negative. But
that's gameplay, though.
It is, but you still can't really move that thing anyway. The controller locks out.
You're locked at your corner. Yeah,
to your bottom right hip or left hip, or wherever it sits. That is the only negative I'm going to give it. It was comfortable. It sat so beautifully on the head. The fact that it has speakers built in behind is really cool. So you don't have to actually immerse yourself and be locked out in the entire world. You can. There's a plugin. You can put another headset on. But the sound was enough to be able to focus on what was going on in the experience and not be locked out of the world. So if someone said, hey, Brett, I could have, and I was talking to you guys while I was playing. So I wasn't totally antisocial. The fact that you don't need to put a handheld device in, which is going to potentially ring, or the screen's going to turn off, or something's going to happen that does happen in the Daydream and the Gear. It's all built in. It's ready to go. It's fast. And I have to say, the lenses and the feeling of being in there was just beautiful. It just was awesome.
So the added value on that, and this is, I think, where Oculus, I mean, Travis, if there's anyone whose opinion I respect, unquestionably in the VR space,
he's up there.
when you look at the hardware of Oculus versus Vive, Oculus was the first to actually have the headphones built in. It had the middle strap.
Yes, that's right.
It's also lighter in terms of what's hanging on your face. So the comfort level of that has been extrapolated and even made more comfortable on the go. And you feel the texture of the material, right? You're wearing it on your face. You don't have a weight.
Yep.
Right?
Because the center strap
is supporting it.
Yep.
And, you mentioned before, +1, screen built in. Yep. And a beautiful screen. +2, sound built in. So you get in, you put the headset on, it turns on.
And you're ready to go, right?
It goes. It's done.
I know.
And Daydream, you have to put it in. Your phone.
We're not knocking, right? So
not at all.
We definitely. This is not a comparison.
Huge fan of Daydream as well, and but guess what? I would go buy an Oculus Go tomorrow.
Me too.
Which might do. I have a Daydream at home, and I don't really necessarily use the Daydream.
Yeah, but you would want to come home every day and actually put on the Go. One, because you don't have to put your phone in it, fire it up, open the app, etc. It's just put it on. It turns on. You could maybe watch a movie or docu or something like that. Take it off, it shuts off, and that's it, you're done.
Yeah. Interestingly, and added onto that is just, two things happened in VR. One is that you can watch Netflix. Two,
we didn't do that yesterday.
We didn't. I've done it. It's very cool. You have to choose the experience.
Is it because I did go into the lounge? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
When you go into the Oculus lounge, you're sitting on a couch with pillows, and it's got like a scenery in the background and a big TV, and then that would be where it projects a movie. You don't have to watch it like that, though.
No. There's multiple that you can have with a Starry Night.
Okay.
You have a screen just in the middle of space.
Yeah, you see, that's cool.
And that's more on the app side. So the experience on Daydream and Oculus are very similar in that.
Yeah.
YouTube and being able to watch videos and access the browser, that's Google only.
You see, that's
in Daydream. So you can go browse.
Do we drop the cash and go on Oculus Go, knowing that we've already limited, or do you think Google, being the people that they are, I mean, they generally do play nicely with everyone, would they let a Chrome extension appear inside the Oculus ecosystem?
Facebook is across the street. I think that we need to get Facebook over there, and the guys at Google, Martin B., who we're going to meet on Thursday. I want to take the HTC Focus.
That's their portable...
The Vive Focus, the new one coming out, which supposedly has 6 degrees of freedom. And I want to take the new Oculus Santa Cruz, which supposedly also has 6 degrees of freedom and a wider field of view.
And they're all wireless and they're all self-contained.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
So it would be a head-to-head competition. Go in and try them and say, guys, let's just see what happens.
Do you think they would do that, like in front of each other, or do you think the egos would get in the way of the headsets?
I don't know. In Vive, right? When you go into the Vive and you're actually trying to get into content and get into apps, it is cumbersome.
Yeah.
Right?
But it is so good. I still love Vive.
No doubt.
It's a different experience, though.
We're going to have to get you in Beat Saber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So... Look, if you want to get into VR, yesterday I would have said, go get yourself a Daydream. Today,
go.
I would go try them out.
Yeah. Now, and you've known me long enough now, right? I kind of like make my mind up quickly, and then that's it. It takes forever to change. I would have said before yesterday, I would have said if you want to experience VR before you cough big cash, Daydream. Material's good, it's comfortable, easy to use, practical, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to say Oculus Go. Again, they're different price points because one comes with hardware, one's just an empty shell that you put a phone in, but you still have to have a decent phone. So you've got to factor that in when you make that financial decision.
So there are other small factors here. Google Daydream, you can have a Google phone, Android. If you're going Samsung, if you have a Samsung, you can go to Gear VR. It's a good experience. It's pretty much exactly the same as the Oculus Go. If you don't want to put your phone in, you just want to get that standalone experience, the Go is definitely the way to go.
There's the answer.
On all of those, content is still lacking. At the
And
end
this
of the
is
day,
the problem, right?
you're going to play 2 or 3 games. You're going to play the shooter game we played yesterday. It's fun. You might get some other friends in. You might play it. You're going to end up watching Netflix at night when your partner's sleeping on the bed.
With
because-
just
with just an Oculus
Which is
on.
not such a bad thing
It's
either,
not such
especially
a
if you
bad thing.
go into some of the other kinds of content you can
No.
watch on your own.
And I've sat
What
there.
are you watching? Just bunnies.
And the added value of the Go is that you don't have the light from the side of the phone peeking out. So if there is a light sleeper next to you,
Yeah.
they're not going to see it.
I'm going to add one more in there that you've left out.
What's that?
Is the poor iPhone users out there. You have to get an Oculus Go if you're an iPhone user. It's very hard to use your iPhone on any of the other platforms. You can't use it on the Samsung Gear. I think you can do it on the Daydream, but it just doesn't quite close up and fit properly. So if you're an iPhone user that wants to get into or experience some form of home VR without the cumbersome equipment, hands down, until September, of course, if they maybe announce something that we don't know. But that's definitely, I want to go. That's where I am at the moment.
I think the next toys we're getting.
Yay.
Just A and B split for the
Love
future.
toys.
We do need to do the experience of Facebook Spaces, which you cannot use in the Go, versus Oculus Rooms, I think it's called, which is a multi-user
Hold on a
space.
second, how can you not use Facebook on Oculus and they own them?
Ask Facebook, man.
Oh, Zuckerberg.
Facebook Space is not available on Oculus Go yet.
How? Just don't get me
I
started,
know,
right? I
I
don't want
know,
to bash
I know.
people unnecessarily. I'm
I
in a
know.
good mood. It's time for Screens with a Z. We haven't done Screens with a Z for a while. We did Tech News, I think, last week and the week before. I think the last Screens with a Z we did was the Alcatel. Was it Alcatel's 1C that you did?
It is. It is.
Okay, so this week is a selfish indulgence. The listeners must know by now, if they've been listening to the show, I am a Blackberry fan. I do not apologize for that. I will never apologize for that. And I will continue to rock a Blackberry as my other device for as long as Blackberry makes Blackberries. I think we did do the Key 1 a little while ago on the show.
I don't know if we ever reviewed the Key 1. We may have mentioned it, but we're on to the Key 2. So
Well, we're on to the Key 2.
Yep.
So I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison because I think in a nutshell they're the same. For anyone that hasn't seen a Key 1, it looks like most of the other Blackberries. It's got screen on the top and a hard keyboard on the bottom. The Screen 2 is exactly the same. It's got a screen on the top and a hard keyboard on the bottom. Main difference is the keyboard that they have now is what they did when they went through their original transformation from small keys to these big, wide, very comfortable keys that are much easier to type on. So straight away, any BlackBerry user that was on Key 1 will see the difference straight away. It feels easier to type. It's softer. It's just much easier to type on. The screen size is pretty much the same. This is rocking, what do you guys call it? Aryeh, Android 8. Aryeh.
yeah.
So this has got Aryeh. I think the Key 1, I don't actually know if the Key 1 upgrades, but the one with, what was before Aryeh? N-O-N-N-O? Yeah, Nougat. I don't know if that's a major difference because you're not using the BlackBerry for all of Android's features anyway. It's got its own built-in security functions. Battery life, really good. Camera, funny enough, okay. I'm sorry, BlackBerry. I did say that I love you, but cameras have never been the reason to buy a BlackBerry ever.
It's just not.
They're
there.
not there. This one's now got a double camera, the 2 cameras on the back, so it's moving that same SLR type style that the Samsung has and the Huawei and every other new phone. Pictures are not bad, but I would still use my iPhone to take pictures. It's the cameras just aren't there. However, it has a camera built-in business card reader. Now remember, BlackBerry is a business phone. That's what it is. You're not going to buy a BlackBerry because you want to watch movies. You open up the camera, you take a picture of a business card, and the OCR button appears, and it reads it and puts it into your contacts for you.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Does it need the internet for that?
No.
Okay.
It won't sync
Yep.
until you connect, obviously, so it won't go to your Google contacts,
Yeah.
but it will be on the phone.
And along those lines, I think that we need to distinguish, that question, why would you buy a BlackBerry in the first place? And for those people that haven't worked in the corporate environment, especially in the days when BlackBerry was the only device you used,
Yes.
right? You had 2 phones. You had a BlackBerry and
And
an
then a phone.
iPhone or an
Yeah.
Android, right? And that was just how it was. And it is built for business.
Yes.
Your typing,
100%.
it fixes your typing, it autocorrects for you, and it's not the
Well, it's got
Google
that flick
autocorrect.
type. So I
It's
don't
got
know if
the
we
flick
talked about
type.
that on the first one, but the flick type is when you see your predictive text along the top, you get given 3 words, 3 predictive words, and all you do is flick your finger over the keys. The keys are all hot. They're like frets on a guitar,
Yep.
and the word just slides up.
Yep.
So as it learns the way you type, the words just appear. You literally sit there and just flick, 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 flick.
Yep.
So your speed is
Yep.
increased for typing.
But
But you're 100% right. This is a
even-
business phone.
Even just the basic typing. Even just the basic typing. When you're typing autocorrect in Google, it will highlight the word. It won't fix it for you.
Correct.
And this
This will
learns
fix.
from your typing. So even if you're not
It
into
does
flick
slang
typing,
in dual language as well. So
Yeah.
if I use like Afrikaans words, like when I say lekker, which means good,
yeah,
I can be speaking in, I can be typing in English, and if it's a sentence I've used before where I've used lekker, it'll bring it in. It'll actually bring that word in as a choice. So it'll move across the vernaculars and the slangs as well. That's pretty cool.
yeah. The screen itself, very beautiful.
Yeah,
The
great colors.
The color's good, and I think that whole point of. I'm gonna lock the phone out. That whole thing of, why are you using the phone? What are you using it for? You're a business user.
Yeah,
You're looking at the phone.
That's
You're
where
not going
this
to be
is.
sitting here watching YouTube videos all day,
100%.
every day. You're not going to be playing games on this device, right? But you are going to be jamming it for business.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, right?
And you've seen that's all I use it for.
Yeah.
I do my emails on there. I read news on there. Speaking of news and reading, and I don't know if this is a BlackBerry thing. I think it may be, but it has a thing called privacy mode. It basically blacks out the whole screen
Yeah.
and then leaves one line. So you can scroll it down and you can only read that line. So if you're sitting on a bus or a train, first world problems. People sitting next to you, they cannot read what you're reading. It's just one line of text. You can use that same tool to block out stuff. So let's say I've got to send you something. I don't want you... I don't want to put a picture of my credit card numbers or whatever, but you need to see what card I have or my license.
Yep.
I can take out my license number or my address. You can actually block it out using that same filter. So again, this is a business tool. The other thing it has, which a lot of the modern phones don't have, remember the modern phones are trying to get rid of buttons. That's what they seem to be doing. So you've got your volume button, you've got your on-off button, but then it has what they call a quick button. So you push the quick button and you can pre-program it to have 3 different apps appear, and you can just tap which app you want.
So interestingly enough, my phone has a third button as well.
That's right. You've got Bixby.
The
What's it called? Bixby.
Yeah,
You've decommissioned that,
Bixby.
haven't you?
Look, I flipped it out, and what's interesting is this. The quick launch button there, you can actually hit the quick launch, and it'll open the sub buttons on the screen, so it can actually give you a quick one. On Facebook, on the Note, and I think it's on the Note and on all the Edge phones, so Samsung 6, 7, 8, and now the 9, S9. You've got the drawer on the side.
Yep.
So you have the quick button. So
I've got that as well on there.
yeah, so it's a similar kind of thing where on this one you have a quick button. So it's different there because
I can program the quick button for anything though, not just the
Right.
drag drawer.
Right. So but you got two different things. You got the drag drawer, which is similar to the Blackberry one, and you got
Yeah.
a quick button, which also has sub buttons on it if
Yes.
you want.
If you want, or you can just
Yeah.
fire one. It just fires up.
Yeah.
It also has a social. Funny enough, I was saying the cameras are not great, but you can hold the camera down, and it will actually fire up to take a picture and get it ready for Instagram or Facebook.
Which is a question of
Wow.
where, and this is where I think it's a challenge for phone companies, particularly like BlackBerry, where you're sitting in between business users. If you've gone down the iPhone route, you don't have a choice. You got an iPhone 10, and that's just where you're going to go. It'll do all the business stuff. This phone, business phone, battery,
Good.
2 days.
Very good
And
battery.
if you are using a business phone, we're sitting here. I've got my battery in. It's what, 3
Yeah.
o'clock, and
No,
I've
no,
had my
this-
battery in
th-
since
this
11
thing,
a.m.
You're right, but it's because you're not consuming content
No.
like you do on a Samsung or an
No.
iPhone.
But even with moderate usage, from what I've seen of the usage reports, you can still consume content
Yeah,
on it,
yeah,
particularly
yeah.
like podcasts and
Yeah.
such, and it's not going to knock it out.
Yep.
You know, I've looked at it. I've got phone envy. I would rock that, and I would use it, and I think that I would use it enough. My only challenge is that I am consuming a bit of content, and I am using all the different apps that we use for testing and stuff. So.
But as a second phone, and again, I carry it as my second phone. I haven't given up my iPhone. Please don't get worried. I'm still Brett, same guy. But I actually feel like Apple now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best iPhone we've ever made. When they come out every year with the next phone. I have to say that if you are a BlackBerry user, if you are thinking about getting a BlackBerry because you're finding that you're using your phone for typing, for business, more than anything else, or if you are someone who sends an incredible amount of text, whether it's WhatsApp or text messages or WeChat or whatever it is, if you have to type, you might want to give this a shot because it really is the best phone that they've made. The build quality is fantastic. I don't know if it's because the one that I'm played with might have been like a seed phone, in other words, a demo phone. But I noticed when I put the SIM card in, it's SIM card and memory card in the same tray. Or you can give up the memory card. It's got, I think it's 16 or 32 gigs on board, and put in a second SIM. So it really becomes business and personal in one device.
Yep.
I wouldn't do that. I've got two phones for that reason. One's business and one's personal.
Right.
But if I'm going to give it a rating, like if I have to give it a rating out of 10, I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
Key2.
When you get tired of it, who will be happy to
Might
take
have to
it.
seed your Key1.
Yeah.
And you can do the comparison side by side.
Side note, we're talking about screens and a bit of review. Apple is rumored to be launching a dual SIM version in India. And the reason
makes
for that,
sense.
is because of unlike most markets, you actually have competitive rates among daytime, nighttime usage and across the platforms.
They do that in Africa as well.
Yeah, in Asia as well. So it's interesting, and it does become valuable. They're also looking at a low-cost, big screen iPhone.
That would be a mistake. It's got to be kept as a mark. It's got to be kept as a device that you aspire for. Otherwise, it's just like a Samsung or a Huawei or something else.
Schnabs. Moving into Xrated. Wait, sorry, different show. This is XR, Extended Reality.
What were you doing with your Oculus
Sorry,
Go?
dude. I think it's it.
Extended
Extended
reality. Where are we first, mate? We're going VR or AR?
Let's flip it up and do VR first.
Cool. What you got?
So, I think I'm going to start on a low note and move into a higher note.
You're going to sing?
No.
Okay.
So, over the last 2 years, a group of Japanese high school students have been working hard to reproduce a 5-minute virtual reality experience of the bombing of Hiroshima.
That's a bit morbid.
I told you it's the bottom.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's, but basically you go in and you are going in the street, you see this bright light and then the wash and then just, I don't know if you've seen
Immersed.
pictures of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Immersive.
Shit.
And, I don't know if you've seen this. Sometimes there's like crazy
They have that
really
like wave of like power.
the wave of power, but the richness of Japanese anime.
Yeah,
In some cases,
yeah,
like the movie Akira is a very good one, but like that kind of just in your face, you feel the energy. It's like it would be a very, very powerful experience. So the anniversary of Hiroshima was
that's
this
right.
past Monday.
That's
yeah,
right.
73 years. So yeah.
Sure, that is a low note. Okay, I'm getting happy, man. So ElectroNotes,
ElectroNotes.
like Electro Nauts,
Yep.
VR music tool. Now,
I think you say VR musical.
no, music tool. So this is nice. Okay, basically, it's a VR experience where you go in and create music.
Okay.
But they said that they found a lot of those researchers that people that wanted to be musicians are always too scared to play because of criticism. You know, they don't want to sit there and strum a guitar and the guy goes, "Oh, that's a great version of Stairway to Heaven," and they go, "Actually, I was playing Bobby Brown's Wheels on the Bus." So you can now go into a VR experience. You can play with all the tools and create music and all these good things, but in your own private world. And it actually then gives you the confidence so that if you wanted to move into the real world, the physical world, you now can, because you've kind of experienced it, you've seen it and played with it. What was it? So basically, you draw the fearful musician out of their performance anxiety and onto the right track. How was that for cheesy? But it's still, it's cool because music's always going to be a winner. I mean, you talk about Beat Saber and that all the time, which is music and songs. We've talked about Guitar Heroes and things like that. This is just the next step. So, yeah, ElectroNotes VR.
Excellent. We've spoken a little bit about VR on airplanes.
Yes.
So Lufthansa is the next one to put out an in-flight VR experience. Now, where theirs is a little bit different is when you're flying, you put the VR on, and I guess you can look down and see the ground of what you're flying over.
Surely at 35,000 feet, you just see clouds.
I think it's based off Google Earth, I would assume. And so you're actually looking down through, Google Maps and the terrain landscape. Now, I don't know if there's any issues with the sickness of it. What you can also do is zoom in on popular sites. You can go down and then ride in a Ferris wheel as you're going on the plane. I find issues.
It's weird, man.
I mean, the whole point, like you rode on a roller coaster yesterday.
Oh, that was terrible.
Right? And
with 3 degrees of freedom, it's terrible.
That whole issue of not being able to move. So if you're going around in
I know, that's something. I'm getting sick thinking about it.
And you're flying direction.
And you're in a pressurized container.
Yeah. Like, I think there's some questions. I mean, this is a beta test. And
it's still innovative, though.
It's innovative, definitely. And what's even more interesting is that the prototype was developed by their lead agency for VR and AR, 3Spin. Number 3. Now, the fact that there's a lead agency for VR and AR for an airline.
That's cool, right?
That's cool.
That's making a statement.
That's very
so
cool.
they're obviously using it for training and all kinds of stuff. I'm going to stay with airlines, but go to airports. So there's a company called Periscape, as in Periscope and Escape, Periscape, or PeriPeri. So Periscape VR.
Katy Perry.
Yeah, her as well. So they've included an item of Periscape's VR's mixed reality station. So it's actually MR, okay, at JFK's Terminal 4. Now, I can't remember if I've been to Terminal 4. And according to the reports, they got around 750 people a day to each station. And
That's
basically,
huge.
Well, the reason
massive.
I found this also is playing titles like, you guessed it, Beat Saber and Job Simulator.
Which is crazy fun.
What, the Job Simulator or Beat Saber? Well, both.
Both. Beat Saber is best game hands down. Job Simulator is fun because you actually do this silly stuff. Have you tried it?
No.
You sit at a desk and there's like cartoon tools around.
Oh yes,
you,
I have seen that.
You do you throw the stapler at people, you staple papers.
I have seen that.
It's ridiculous. It's fun once.
Yeah. Well, remember you're passing through, right?
Yeah. So
it's HP's mixed reality headset that they're using, and the guys at Periscope are clever. They're saying you got 3 to 4 hours dwell time at an airport, especially international. Okay, so not much to do. So why not escape? And then, if you want, you can also do like the Blue, or any of the other common titles. You can choose, but they reckon that Beat Saber and Jump Simulator are their main. Is it played? Yeah, main played offerings at the Periscape VR stations.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I mean, $750 a day is quite good. It doesn't sound like a lot when you think about how many people go through, but only one person can play on station at a time. And if you're doing 5 minutes, it's a lot.
it is. There's also the important part of the exposure of
Correct. 'Cause
VR.
they're all going by when they get home.
Well, it's not only that. For every one person playing, 10 people to 20 people are sitting there watching them play. And probably most people that are going there for the first time, they have that jaw drop experience where they're doing something completely ridiculous.
And
But
now for something completely ridiculous.
They're going to have a screen up. You definitely be able to watch the screen to see what people are doing. And you're seeing someone standing there with the VR. Like when you walk by the Microsoft store and you got people in the VR in the window. The reason why they're
They
in
look
the
like
window,
they're having a fit, right?
Exactly. Where people that sit on the Samsung chair where you get to wear the VR and go racing or whatever. It's that exposure. So every one person that does it, 20 people want to try it. They tell their friends, "Oh, I saw this cool thing at the airport. I didn't have time to try it, but I got to go do it." It's very, very smart.
Where are you flying today? Oh, I don't know. I just kind of want to go in and try the airport
I'm just hanging out at the airport.
In fact, in these airports, you could do that.
Definitely.
Because you just go through the beep-beep machine without a ticket. You can come back out again. It's true. You don't need a ticket to get on the plane.
Domestic, yeah.
Anyway, staying with content. This is something that we talk about all the time, and we're talking about yesterday even with Travis. Is there isn't enough content yet. We know it's coming, and things like 4K, 8K, and that influence it. So Targo and Inception have partnered to bring VR documentary content to the Targo platform every 2 weeks. The Inception platform every 2 weeks. So Inception's an app. It's available on all major VR platforms, and it's had over 1 million downloads already. So it's not a Mickey Mouse app. And basically, they are going to launch every 2 weeks new content. So they're starting to load content into VR, and that means more and more people are producing content for VR, which means finally we're getting a reason to actually spend more time immersed. Ready Player One.
Yeah, no, totally. I've got another news I'll say for a bit later. We talked about art and VR, and you've kind of made fun about, VR in an art institute, a museum.
I went to the museum to see art in VR.
What the Smithsonian is doing is working with the creators of Second Life, which is Linden Lab, to turning an exhibition called No Spectators, The Art of Burning Man, which is the Burning Man Festival, which is built on Linden Lab's social platform. Now, if anyone went into Second Life towards the latter half of its existence, you would have seen
debauchery.
Right. And
Burning Man is debauchery too.
Right. But this is the Smithsonian.
So it's
this is the art
curated
this is
debauchery.
The art of Burning Man. Well, I'm curious. I mean, I'd almost like to jump into a Vive and see just what it is, just what this is, and not for any reason other than to be a spectator of this footnote in the culture of today, where Burning Man is a thing.
Yeah.
20 years from now, we might look back on today and be like, "What were those people doing, dancing around naked in the desert?"
You've just created a new thing. You realize that
Oh,
voyeuristic VR. You're
dude,
just going in to
no
see
doubt.
it,
Absolutely.
not to be part of it. You're just going to have a little curious gander.
There's you've got to see. There's an episode of Black Mirror with the guy from Mad Men in it.
I know which one you're talking about. The
And
guy
he
with the
goes
grey
in
hair.
the Christmas special. It's crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen it. You got to go see it. So
Was it in the last season?
2 seasons ago, I think. So the Christmas special, he goes in and his job is to take people on a voyeuristic experience of going on a date. And there's people on the back end who watch it and play and vote. And like this guy talks the guy through how basically to get a girl in bed. And then it goes terribly wrong,
I did
and
see
all this
that.
stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, all Black Mirror goes incredibly wrong.
Yeah, totally. But it's that voyeuristic thing, absolutely.
Next week, VR.
Yeah, VR.
I think I only really have one more. Do you know what the number one issue still is that plagues VR developers?
I don't want to guess.
According to @Croutons with a Z, coffee dump. and there's a picture of it on the web. It's a guy sitting with a VR mask on, trying to take a sip of his coffee and dumping it down his shirt because he can't see his mouth, right? So he sits there. So he reckons this is still the number one thing that plagues the developers. They sit there behind their machines all day. They've got their visors on or their headgear on, and they pick up their coffee and they don't find their mouth. They find their shirt.
Makes sense.
Coffee dump, hashtag.
Makes sense. I've got a couple more, but I'll just leave with this one. It's actually really cool. Scientists, engineers, and robotics experts at a Swiss university have developed a jacket that allows users to fly drones. And so
Jeff needs one of those because he's clearly failing. Failed to launch, failed to take pictures.
He's succeeded.
Oh,
He's gotten it up.
Did you read his latest post?
No.
He's got lots of pictures on a corrupted hard drive on his drone's SD card.
God. Well, this one takes the hands out of trying to take the pictures and actually uses your body to control the drone. So you basically flap your wings
like
to fly.
Move left and
It's
right?
it's actually raising your pelvis and raising your chest, so you actually fly like a bird. And so you raise your chest to go up, push down, left, right. I don't know. Have to try it.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on this one. It's interesting, but I'm trying to see why. You've often said this. Why would you do it when you can just hold a remote?
Today we're holding a remote. It's your hands, the dexterity of your fingers, and this is as a gamer, sure. As a cameraman or a photographer, if you want your hands free for other activity, you can use your body to actually move it around in your hands to control the camera, zoom, whatever those things might be.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to knock it. I haven't seen it.
Yep.
I'm just like the why.
Applications. Rescuers, farmers, Hollywood camera crews. So you're looking at external things you're doing with those
where
drones.
you need your hands free and the drone's there to support you.
Amazon delivery. Domino's Pizza.
Can you see all the people in Amazon warehouses like little penguins leaning left and right and up and
these
down
guys
and
lined
with
up.
an immersed headset and they.
What would the job application look like? So, what is your experience?
I am a
flying
body
birds?
flyer drone mover.
Body flyer,
thing.
drone driver.
I don't know. I've got nothing else on VR. Do you have anything else? Any other nice nuggets of news?
I'm going to give one more, and this is a shout out to our good friend Alvin Graylin Wang over at HTC. HTC is the China president. Vive has been experimenting with multi-room VR.
That's cool.
With Steam VR Beta, can accommodate up to 16 base stations.
That's cool.
So we've seen 4.
We've seen 4.
This is up to 16, so it's pretty cool.
Can you imagine the kind of games that can come out then? Like you've got teams playing against teams, not just with each other.
It is. We're going to have to get the guys from Simosity and Red Cartel across to explain the difference between what they're doing with the base station-less Windows-based VR, which is using inside-out tracking and the controllers to map the floor. Remember, we were over there and the tape's on the floor, so you can see where the room borders are versus the base stations, which are tracking you, and the accuracy between them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Landon, Craig, Wayne, Warren, or everyone, Chris, come. There's room. Are we done on VR? I've got a couple on AR.
Go in. I've only got one.
So talking about tracking and Amazon and all these weird things, a little bit of big brothery there. Amazon has filed a patent for AR goggles. Now, it's not what you may be thinking. This is not another headset that's coming out. Well, it is, but it's not for you and me. It refers to goggles that are specifically for warehouse workers with the title Augmented Reality User Interface Facilitating Fulfillment. So according to the news article, Amazon maintains that this patent has nothing to do with surveilling their employees. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Instead, it's more about freeing up their fulfillment centers' hands from carrying the handheld scanners that they use in the warehouse to locate items. Now, I've been into these dropship warehouses. They walk around with this like scanner thing. They scan the shelf and it tells them the stock that's there and they take it and boom, boom, boom. So what Amazon is purporting is that the AR glasses will read the code and take the goods and do what it needs to do. Come on, we're not that stupid. They're tracking your movements. They're tracking what you're looking at. They're tracking how many scans you're doing in a minute or an hour or a day or whatever it is, and they're going to measure you on it. But they've actually filed a patent for it. The big nasty.
I am going to review I'm going to mention an app that I'd like to do a review on for App of the Week.
But then why don't you save it for App of the Week? Because you're dying to mention it.
Let's put a little bit of news.
Okay.
Tattoos are easy to put on, very difficult to take off.
Yeah, and very painful, to take off.
And very expensive. So, showed this nice little app to the office manager over at Emerge Sydney, Miss Edwina. It's called Ink Hunter. And Ink Hunter is an app, AR-based. It allows you to see tattoos, put them on your body, and see what they'll look like before you actually tattoo them on.
Why is she thinking of getting a tattoo?
Her boyfriend has multiple tattoos.
Okay.
He's had a full sleeve that he had to take off. And he wants to put something else in its place. So
that must be painful.
Yeah. I think what's very cool about the app is that you can actually upload your own designs, and people can actually upload their own designs. So, it syncs with your account on Instagram or whatever. You can go find designs and then use them.
Well, you've just done the review. Now you can't do it as an App of the Week review.
I've got much more to say about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's still AR. I mean, it's still definitely news. Snapchat. It's amazing how many times Snapchat comes up on this show. But they've just done voice-activated lenses. So it's the first voice-activated lenses, which basically it syncs with your reaction. So if when a user says love or wow while taking a selfie, then little hearts or exclamations appear in the background, like over your lenses. So, yeah. Okay. That was my... Are you trying it? I think you have to have the lenses to do it, though. But if you say, like, love, and then all of a sudden hearts start appearing, and that's obviously something you would send to someone, but you didn't have to do it because it's done through AR and recognition. Yeah. You're going to tell me TikTok does it already?
No, TikTok does not do it already.
Okay.
They have AR, but I just need to say that the TikTok, you go on for a minute, you can see 10 different videos. It is so amusing. And I've seen plenty of non-Asian people on TikTok. So it is like, it's just what people are doing these days. Hilarious. It is a good place to find new Snapchat filters. I don't understand it all. But that's in just down there at World Square.
Oh, no, you're saying that's just down there. We're on radio. I'm seeing Aryeh's screen just so people know that that's just down there. Gummy bears. Have you got anything else on AR?
I don't.
I've got one last one.
I do have a question.
Okay.
And I think once you tell yours, and then I'll finish off and ask this question, we can...
Cool, because we're like right at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't have a guest this week.
Yeah.
So Niantic is announcing, or rumored to be announcing, PvP. It's a Polish site that I came across called Gram.
You better explain what PvP is. I don't think anyone knows what that
player
is.
versus player, sorry.
Yeah,
We
this is
translate
geek, right.
into
and
regular
player
speak.
versus player means what?
Multiplayers, two people playing in the same game at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay. See,
Now-
translated.
Now, we've already seen that in AR, though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Niantic's Pokemon Go.
Okay.
They're now saying, this is the rumor, that Niantic will introduce Pokemon PvP into Pokemon Go. So now you'll be able to actually battle against people to take their stuff. You know, you go and you try and win an arena or whatever. To me, it's a little bit Ingressy. I mean, remember, Ingress is the game that put Niantic on the map. Is that you go there and you set bombs and you defend and all that kind of stuff. But how many gazillions and billions of people are playing Pokemon Go still? We saw the other day in the coffee shop that grown-ass lady was standing there holding her phone with Pokemon Go open while she was ordering coffee. So PvP could be coming, which also could reignite and maybe get some of the kids back from Fortnite and then back onto PvP, because now it's that whole Pokemon Go, sorry, because now it's player versus player. So yeah.
It may, and this is a perfect lead into this question, and
Yes.
we'll spend just 2 minutes to talk about it. I still think that the reason why we have so much more news about virtual reality and so much more things to talk about is because virtual reality is an ecosystem. You are immersed and engaged and put into that virtual space. versus augmented reality, where you're still using your phone, a miniature screen, to look through the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So that immersive space is the size of, 5 inches by 2 inches. Like, it's a small little place to look. The cameras are still not good enough. The cameras are incredible on the phones, but in terms of picking up and tracking the real world, nowhere close to being there. So if you're trying to deliver something functional and valuable from a content perspective or a usability perspective, AR is just not there yet. VR, you pretty much have it nailed from the perspective of getting to have that full experience.
Yeah.
Whereas AR, you're still, let me see and try to make the car fit in the space. Oh, let me try to make it fit into what I want. Versus, Tilt Brush, you have the 360 full immersive capability of drawing and building structures in full space. Saw a mixed reality example of a guy on a stage. He had a HoloLens, and he was able to look and see a room around him, similar to the IKEA space idea of putting a piece of furniture in your space, but you could actually build walls around you and then walk around in the space and see it through the HoloLens. Problem: HoloLens field of view
is small.
It's like 60
It's like
degrees.
using
It's
AR.
ridiculous, right? So it's like putting that screen in front of you. If your eyes
Anywhere
glance
else.
outside the space, it's gone.
Yeah.
So that suspension of disbelief, or breaking that immersive experience, not there.
No.
So the question is, what can we do in AR with a phone screen that is the functionality and or the entertainment that's actually going to be something that I want to have in front of me all the time?
Sure, I can't answer that now. I mean, that's like quite a deep question.
Think about it. Let's do some looking.
Well, first thing you can do is buy an iPhone, because all you ever want to do
Right.
with an iPhone is just look at this beautiful screen
So
that
the
it is.
iPhone ARKit AR Measure
Yeah,
is an interesting one. But the demo you see, who's actually going to go and
No,
measure?
no one's gonna- no.
No one cares. Like, this is the side of a table. Like, no, you're going to build the table and eat on the table. Like, what are you going to eat for dinner? Yeah, maybe I'll have a look at that, right?
I can't answer that question. I'm just my cogs are turning. You've had time to think about that. That's not fair. I'll think about it. We got to wrap, man.
All right.
Are we done? We done?
We are done.
If anyone else knows the answer to that question, tell us.
I do want to give it a quick shout out.
Shout out.
Vivo Cafe has been incredible. They're going to be closing their doors very soon. Angela, the owner, has
Well,
been
that's sad. We're
amazing.
supposed to be on a high note.
I'm going to say that we are going to continue supporting as the lights literally go out around us. But thank you.
Yeah. Well, we've still got a few more weeks.
Absolutely.
And watch this space.
Fantastic.
So until next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.
Thanks for listening to our latest episode of The Technology Show. Remember, for more episodes, hop onto eaglewavesradio.com.au, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Catch you next time.